There it is, Hoba meteorite. So in 1920, a farmer was plowing his field, and his plow hit something metal underneath the surface. And so what is that? He started digging around it and realizes he has a big piece of metal on his property. A scientist would eventually look at it and say, this is an iron meteorite. And this particular meteorite weighs 60 tons. 60 tons is a lot. Your average car weighs about how much? Like a ton? A truck, maybe 2 tons? So 60-ton metal objects, too heavy to move. So what they did is they left it in place, and they built a whole park around it. So you can go visit there, you can sit, you can watch it. Actually, the original weight was 66 tons, but over the years, people were taking pieces of it off. And so it lost 6 tons in the years. But it's not being stolen anymore because it's now a national park in Africa. So that's a Hoba meteorite. That's the biggest meteorite. You can't move that one. It's so big. But most meteorites, like, okay, so a person standing next to it, it's probably about 10 feet, yeah, about the size of a car. Probably like 10 by 6 feet by maybe 3.5 feet tall. Yes? Western Africa. Yeah. But other meteorites, when they enter the atmosphere, they usually fall apart. Holtus, like I said, was in hundreds of pieces, and that's one of the larger pieces. And then some of these iron meteorites, do you see that one right there? That's an iron meteorite that fell in central Arizona 50,000 years ago. And it created this.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
You guys recognize that crater?
What is that?
This is the world's best known meteorite impact crater on the surface of the Earth.
Oh, yeah.
You saw a picture of that?
I've read that
Yes.
before, actually.
What's the picture?
Well, I'm going to get to that. We'll get to that. So that's called Meteor Crater in central Arizona. It's the best preserved crater on the surface of the Earth. So a 100,000-ton meteorite hit the Earth 50,000 years ago and created this crater that's almost a mile across. So speaking of meteor craters, how many meteor craters do you think are known on the surface of the Earth? 200 million? It's a good guess. About 190 total meteorite craters. Does the moon have more craters than the Earth?
Yes.
Does Mars have more craters than the Earth?
Yes.
Why is that? So all these little dots on this map, these are the known meteorite craters, about 170, 180 craters. Why is that?
Because the moon and Mars are closer to the actual stuff.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory, but we got hit by just as much material.
Because we have a lot of ocean, and this ocean is making crater.
That's a good guess too. That's part of it might be true because there's still some more way to be discovered in the ocean.
Maybe because we've got a thicker atmosphere that would make it like burn up more.
Those are
So
all-
all the smaller meteors wouldn't like the Earth like before it burned up.
That's a good guess too. And those are all factors that play into that. But the main reason, do you have an answer?
There isn't any wind in space to blow the craters away.
That's an excellent answer. Yeah. So those are all right answers. Earth has weather, like wind. Earth has more oceans that can hide craters. But most importantly, Earth is geologically active. What does that mean? Do you know what plate tectonics are?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, so do our continents always stay in the same place?
No.
They move, right? And so the stuff that could possibly fall in the ocean gets sucked up underneath the continental crust. So that erases all the effects. And then weather effects like the wind and rain and erosion, that weathers it all away. So you end up with a crater that might have looked like, here's a meteor crater. That might have looked like this at some point. Over millions of years, ends up looking like, I should put these in order. I realize cool mountain bike shots too. Ends up looking more like that. It's worn down. And you really can't tell on the surface sometimes. This one's very special. It's called Gebel-Camil, and this was discovered in 2008. And this particular meteorite crater was discovered using Google Maps.